They say never let a good crisis go to waste. 2020 surely had no shortage of those, with dramatically increased calls from all layers of society for serious structural change. The opportunities for building a better future are abundant. But how do we translate those into practice? Rotterdam, the second largest city in the Netherlands, with a challenging diversity, dependence on heavy industry, and deep economic divide, started seizing on their opportunities even before 2020. I moved to Rotterdam from Boston over 5 years ago to launch the first international location of the company I work for, the Cambridge Innovation Center. From day one, I experienced Rotterdam as a place of serious innovation and honest action, unafraid to face its own challenges. Rotterdam has changed immensely over the years, growing as a home of a strong startup community and a playground for businesses, tackling everything from our future climate challenges to society's equity issues. Leading this change is a man I respect immensely, and one of the city's strongest proponents of innovation, Mayor Abu Taleb. Mayor Abu Taleb has been the mayor for over 12 years and has been a force in transforming Rotterdam into a city poised to face the future's challenges head-on. Today, I have the pleasure of speaking with one of Europe's most forward-thinking mayors. Mayor Abu Taleb, it's so nice to be here with you today, and thank you for taking the time to talk to us.
Pleasure.
And I'd love to start by just hearing a little bit about Rotterdam, the city, and you personally as a mayor. Can you tell us about Rotterdam as a city?
Well, Rotterdam is a really fascinating city. It is said that the city is a city of blue-collar jobs, the port, a major one, the largest port in the Western Hemisphere, which is not only a cargo port, but also an industry port. The major large refineries in the world are here. It provides a lot of working opportunities for more than 150,000 jobs, daily jobs, and more than 100,000 connected jobs to the port. It's by being a port city, it's also an international city. So a lot of people from all over the world are here. I'm not only the mayor of Rotterdam, but when I go outside the city hall, I tend to say I'm a kind of a Secretary General of the United Nations of Rotterdam.
Nice.
All colors of the world,
yeah.
174 nationalities. It's fascinating. So all the flavors of the world, the kitchens of the world, the languages of the world, the religions of the world. So that makes the city not easy to manage,
yeah.
but very exciting.
Yeah. Tell us a bit about yourself, please.
I'm a mayor of Rotterdam for now 12 years. I'm lucky to serve for a third term for another 6 years. I'm born in Morocco, from both Moroccan parents, both living in the Netherlands. A big portion of my family is living in the Netherlands. I migrated to the Netherlands when I was 15. So I had to adapt to the Netherlands, to learn the Dutch language, to learn the English language, which is really, for me,
speak well.
the fourth language
Wow.
after the Arab language and the French language.
Wow.
So it was really a big energy-consuming period in my life to get adapted to the Netherlands. My education is, I'm an engineer, telecommunications. And I spent 3 years also learning on the avionics, everything that is connected to the radio communications of airplanes for 3 years. So I'm not a typical bureaucrat. I'm someone with a technical background. That's sometimes a handicap, and sometimes it's really useful.
And I have gotten to know you as a real pioneer for the startup and the tech sector. Over the years, you've really put a flag in the ground to really say we want to make Rotterdam a home for innovation. There's also a really strong life sciences hospital industry here. Can you speak a bit about that part of the Rotterdam economy?
Well, if you focus on the so-called existing old economy, I'm not negative about that. But if that is the word, then you may see that thanks to innovation also in that part of the industry, the number of jobs are declining, seriously declining over the years. So if you want to create new jobs, the only thing to do that is being innovative. So by stimulating startups, by creating new opportunities. So in the medical sector, for instance, which is really exciting what is happening here, when I'm working together with the universities of Leiden, Life Sciences, the Technology University of Delft, the medical faculty of the Erasmus University of Rotterdam, 3 of them tried to create a new campus where we stimulate the new developments. For instance, in cancer treatments, there are huge attempts in this world by working with antibodies, making antibodies to treat your own disease by making antibodies coming from your own body, which is really fascinating. I talk about that with pioneers in that domain that are now making research in the world, maybe being successful in the future. But I see also how the technology faculty of Delft University is working together with the Erasmus University to create new technologies in the operation rooms. So it's really fascinating to be close to that process. And my role is try to bring the parties together, to facilitate that process, and to say it's good what you are doing.
Right, to shine a light, to support. Yeah. You have so many of these really incredible cities, universities, institutions, and for Americans coming to the country, it's all so dense, so close together. What I have seen you do as the mayor of Rotterdam is really reach beyond the city and kind of pull in and build collaborations with other cities. Can you speak more about how you do that, what the challenges are of that, what the thought is behind it?
Even in a small country like the Netherlands, that is a very complicated endeavor. I started in 2009 being mayor of Rotterdam, about 12 years ago, and it's really fascinating that this city is accepting me for a 3rd term, which is really not easy to reach, but there is a fascinating bond between the city and myself, and I feel really comfortable about that. But I started working with the former mayor of the city of The Hague to create a metropolitan authority, which does not exist in our geography as an entity. So why? Because the city of Rotterdam scale was not big enough to compete with larger regions in Europe. You need another level, at least a region of 3 million people. So what we did, Van Aertsen, who was not longer mayor in The Hague, and myself, we went out to the cities and communities surrounding these both cities and trying to create a new coalition together with the province. And it took a long time to lobby the government, but also to lobby the parliament to say that this is really a fascinating new step. Yeah. And that we organize our public transport, we organize our economy, and maybe in the future we organize our green spaces on a larger level than on the city level, which is a smaller level. The city of Rotterdam is 650,000 citizens, right. And we succeeded in doing that. And now we have that collaboration, which its own budgets, its own decision bodies, and that's really fascinating to create. That opens the doors for the universities in this region to work together. If the region is working together, then the sciences is also willing to do the same.
Yeah, it's a way of building resilience and a way of strengthening, which is, I think, really impressive. And I think resilience perhaps has been an overused word in 2020, but it's been something we've kind of held on to get through the pandemic. Yeah. In what ways is Rotterdam resilient? We are very resilient in one sense and not good in the other one. We are good resilient when it comes to dealing with water, all the challenges connected to water, flooding, for instance, but also the climate change. I think we are one of the fascinating cities in the world with a huge capital in the port that is not protected by dikes and levees. But there's a huge amount of investments in the port which is not protected. So we have to be clever in managing the water. We do that, and we have really thousands of kilometers of dikes and levees, and the whole world is watching what is going on here. I have been serving the last 5-6 years as a chairperson for a committee that is advising the national government about investments in protecting the Netherlands when it comes to dikes and levees, and have been becoming a half engineer in water management. Really fascinating world. We are good in that, and that goes back to the 15 and 1600s when the water boards, the first democracy in the Netherlands, was established.
to create dry polders for the agriculture. So we are good in that. But resiliency is not only dealing with physics, it's also dealing with social issues. Being a resilient city is how to recover, for instance, from COVID-19. Are you willing, do you have a plan for investments now and after the COVID-19 to make it possible that everyone is going to play his role in society as it must be? And that's what we call social resiliency. We're really discovering how to do that. There is not a green or a red book where you can find a formula how to do that. It's working in progress, it's finding things, it's losing things, it's restarting things. And I think that's the endeavor in the entire world with major cities, how to recover and stimulate people to participate. The other thing which we are now still working in progress is the energy transition. Connected with the climate issues, we have to address the issue of energy transition, and we're doing good in that. But I would like to see that all citizens of Rotterdam is a kind of as a block moving forward.
Right.
Nobody would left behind. So not be that energy transition is something for the well-being, for the people with thick wallets, but everyone must profit from that process forward. And even that is still work in progress, and we don't have really the magic formula on that.
Yeah, I think you said in the beginning that you and Rotterdam are kind of, inexplicably intertwined, and you've been such a successful mayor. I think too, part of the Rotterdam identity is really tied with you. You came here 15 years old from Morocco, and this is such a melting pot of 180 ethnicities and nationalities. What challenges specifically does that present? You've kind of touched on it a bit, and what opportunities does that give us as a city?
On personal level, I have been experiencing the last 15 years being in public office that we are happy in the Netherlands and proud that we say all things we do are based on policy. We have plans and we discuss it in a democracy. We are happy with it, and it's fascinating. And to a certain degree, it's good. But let me tell you that it's really important who is doing that. The man or the woman in charge. Mm-hmm. The man or woman who is taking decisions. In my office, I take, I think, 20, 25, 30 decisions a day. So I can take a decision to the left, to the right, up, down, and I have a choice. Why? And it's really not only the policy and the public debate and the democracy that is shaping the policy, it's also your personal consciousness. Why I'm fighting against homelessness. I can say you're a drug addict, you have an alcohol problem, it's your problem. You did that, why? So you are to blame, not the city, not the mayor. But nevertheless, to me, I have said in our council, I don't accept that people sleep outside. Sleeping under a bridge is not a human thing.
Yeah.
So that has nothing to do with policy. The policy is correct. It's to do with your personal touch, your personal feeling. How do you feel when you drive through in your car under the bridge and people are sleeping over there? What is your feeling at that very moment? Do you say, well, we're a big city, we have to accept that? Or do you say to drive a halt? I call the police and ask them to pick these people here and bring them to a shelter. It matters who is taking that type of decisions. And maybe you may say that being a migrant, have been living under difficult circumstances, not always privileged, always the fight to get a step forward. Maybe that is contributing to the way I tried to fulfill my duties as mayor.
I feel that in kind of the heart of Rotterdam, the humanity of Rotterdam, and I think it's interesting to think about we have to keep that humanity in those policy decisions. And also when I think about humanity in Rotterdam, I think of the cultural sector. I think of architecture. I think of art and the creative sector. Where does that sit for you as you look at the city of Rotterdam as mayor, the creative sector?
The sky is the limit. That's really the answer. We love the creators. We love the way we are dealing with architecture. We're giving space to creators, to architects, to developers. And I think it's really important to be a kind of a city that is learning from what the creators can bring. We are bureaucrats. We know how to deal with with making decisions, how to deal with budgets, and how to stimulate. But I'm not the most creative people. I'm not in public offices. It's really important to bring that in and to give it space. The only thing that we would like to have when it comes to architecture and to developers is that we would like to have a balanced city in which there is space for everyone, even for people with low-income policies. So people with 1,700 euros a month may also have a space to live in. So we don't like a city that is not that is naked in terms of solidarity. We would like to have all these people together. You may say Rotterdam has a lot of people that are living from social benefits. That's true. But you may also say the city is proud of being a shelter for these people. Somewhere these people may live, and not on a bridge. So it's really important that we work together with creators in the music industry, in the design industry, in the architecture. But simultaneously, we would like to have a solid city that is really providing space to all.
We've touched on this in a few ways, but I would love to hear, what do you think are going to be the three biggest challenges that Rotterdam will face in the future, in the next 5 years, let's say?
The three will be, I think, the energy transition.
Yeah.
One way or another, we have to move to a next stage of energy. We came from the Stone Age. From the Stone Age, we went to steam, and from steam, we went to electricity and steel. And now we discover that we're destroying Mother Earth and our environment, so we have to do something about that. So energy-friendly, eco-friendly energy production is really the new step. It's not only for the energy security, but also for the health. If we do that in Rotterdam, we will reduce a major deal of the CO2 emissions in the air. So that's really fascinating how the industry can contribute to health. So that's one endeavor. The second one is, I think, the housing issues. Mm-hmm. We lay behind in the Netherlands. I think we lack 1 million houses. And that has to do with a lot of factors. I will not elaborate about that, but we need to accelerate. We need to accelerate in building appropriate, affordable housing for all types of incomes in the Netherlands. In my region here, we're talking about 80,000 to 100,000 houses. Nationwide, we lack 1 million houses. So we have to really to accelerate in that. I call it the new social issue in the Netherlands. Mm-hmm. A lot of young people are forced to live with the parents because there are not enough affordable housing for youth, and that's not a good thing. And the last thing is the social resiliency, how to make all these transitions happen and simultaneously cutting all these uncertain circumstances for people that cannot deal with uncertainties. I think that's really important, a kind of income security, a kind of housing security, and a type of, I shall call it an equal access to a scarce product of society, mm-hmm. which is housing, education, healthcare, and other types of scarce product in society. So equal access, equality is really important. So energy transition, housing, and equality.
What role can innovation play in facing these challenges? I think specifically about the digitization and how much more inclusive and accessible perhaps education has become through the pandemic by going online and certain things like that. What role do you see for tech and innovation in kind of these three challenges?
Innovation will never replace human beings, but it's really important to get forward. I believe that in terms of technological solutions that we have, if this is a mountain, the amount of technological solutions that we use from this all maybe provided available solutions is just this. Yeah. So there is a wide range of solutions that we have never been thinking of. Yeah. So and as humanity is going forward, we will discover more solutions for a lot of things, and that's really important. And that will put a lot of pressure on education to educate our youngsters to another level of sciences and dealing with these technologies. That creates new opportunities, new labor market opportunities. So technology is really important. It's not a goal in itself. Technology is serving humanity.
Right.
But don't forget that even in my city, in the largest cities in the world, I guess 25-30% of people will not be able to deal with a lot of modern technologies. So that if we as a city are organizing our systems in a way that people can enter our databases, that they can organize any document they need, they can request a passport, a driver license, whatever, all these things can be done digitally. But we still will have 25-30% of people to be served in the very traditional manner.
Right.
So I think that's really an endeavor for cities how to do both.
Right.
To invest in the technology and to invite the technology to come in and to serve humanity and to serve cities and our services, etc. At the same time, be aware that there will be always people that cannot deal with technology.
Right. The running theme being the humanity thread through all of this being so important. One thing I've always loved about the Netherlands is that as a small country, I feel like people are very open to outside ideas, very open to making connections with other cities, other places around the world, bringing in technologies. I believe Rotterdam has a relationship with Houston, which is relevant because we're at South by Southwest.
Yeah.
Can you say a little bit about that?
I recently spoke to the mayor of Houston. We had a digital conference and we both were opening the meeting. The plan was that I will travel to Houston, leading a business delegation in the maritime sector, and unfortunately it was not possible to do that due to COVID-19 issues. So we had the opportunity to speak to each other. Houston and all the major maritime cities in the US, I should say, it's also with New York and other cities, we are really well connected and all have the issue that we work with very trusted old industries and simultaneously we're looking forward to the transitions and that democracies are really not easy to manage transitions. Democracies are good in debating technologies, debating ideologies and debating citizens' issues, but in the public offices we have not always engineers and people with the mathematics background or engineering background to have actual pictures of what is going on in the world and what the possibilities are. I have been watching with a lot of pain the way President Trump was defending the car industry in the US, knowing that combustion engines will disappear. 10 years, 15 years, will disappear. But for political and ideological reasons, things have been protected.
Right.
So protectionism in that way is not a good thing. So I will invite my friends and colleagues in the US and elsewhere in the world to understand that indeed the existing technologies, all technologies are still important, but they have to fade out and we have to create space for new things because some things in our existence as human beings are really going to happen, whether you like it or not.
Right. Cannot fight the inevitable in these ways. As an American myself, I've spent, the past years, there's a lot of people who are really frustrated that they feel the politicians who are leading them are not focused on the right topics, on thinking about the future, thinking about climate change, thinking about resiliency. Here, we're very lucky to have those things on the agenda, on the table. But I'm curious, what would you say to a citizen somewhere who is really feeling like their leaders are not focused on the right topics? What can they do?
Leaders are not coming from the moon.
Right.
Leaders are product of society.
Right.
And leaders, they know what the citizens want. And the citizens are focused on the issues of immediate, the day, the week, the month, the year, and things that happen within 1.5 hour drive of their own house. Yeah. That's the living environment of a lot of citizens. So if you want that your leader is going to focus on the long-term transitions, feed them with that idea. Otherwise, they will not do it because they think they are serving you by focusing on the daily issues of today and tomorrow. So there is a linkage between being a leader and the kind of food that is coming from the society to feed the leaders. As long as the leaders think they can win the elections by playing with the themes of today and you vote for them, they will do it. So in fact, the leader is not the leader is the society.
Right, the representation.
If you want really that your leader is going to lead, being in the lead, seeing the horizon, push them toward that idea.
I really enjoyed the conversation with the mayor, and I hope you did too. What I really took away was that humans are at the center of this. They're at the center of our resilience, our ability to think about challenges like climate change, what technology we adopt, and how we build an inclusive society. I hope that people watching get a takeaway from this that we can have an impact, and I really appreciated when Mayor Abu Talib stressed that we need to be engaging with our leaders in our societies to help them focus on our future challenges like climate change. Lastly, I would like to say I send an open invitation to everyone who's watching to come visit us in this incredible city, whether it's to work, to play, to enjoy. When air travel and pandemic lets up, our doors are open, and we hope you come to this international, amazing city.